First off, allow me to apologize for my appearance. I've been having a rough past couple weeks, man. This shit's been rough. It's been rough and tough, man. About a year ago, I decided to get married. I was working at the gas station at the time. I was a clerk. I was on paper. I had to get a job. I'm hustling at the same time, on paper, at the gas station, selling work right out where the register is. I got my shit set right under the register. You know, like, just hot shit, being hot with it. Talking to a lot of girls who come in, just like, trying to be a little playboy. Anyways, this girl comes in, woman, I should say. She was 30 years old. She comes in, she's got a cute puppy. She got a southern accent. I'm a sucker for a southern accent. So I'm like, okay, she's cute. She looks good. She's a cute little bitch, I'm like, okay. I start talking to her, I give her my number. I'm like, hey, you should call me, This and that. I was playing with the puppy. She's a cool little dog. The puppy was a Belgian Malinois mixed with a pit bull. And it was a good mix, man. Good looking dog. Cute ass little dog. He's buff. He's got broad shoulders. His little ears are sticking up. He's a good looking little dog. So I was fucking with him. This and that. And, long story short, we started dating. And she lives in a trailer park. She just moved from Alabama. She just moved to Seattle. She drove her Jeep, pulling the trailer all the way from Alabama to Seattle. She lives in this trailer park. It's like 5 minutes down the street from where I was working at this gas station. So she's living there. She got 2 dogs. She got a big ass pit bull who's like 7 or 8 years old. And then she just got this little puppy. So I'm like, okay, like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, obviously, bitch. You got 2 of these dogs. One's about to get hella big. One's already hella big. You got the smallest little trailer. And she's telling me she's going through it. Like this and that. She said the big dog bit her little puppy and his nose is bleeding. I came over and you can see it. Yeah, shit. Motherfucker got bit alright. And she bit the fuck out of him. So I'm like, look, you can't handle this dog. Just give me the dog. I'm going to take the dog. So she's like, okay, you can watch him. I'm like, alright, go ahead, go and give him to me. It's my dog. So she gives me the dog. I start taking care of him. It's this and that. He's a good dog. He's a puppy. Needs training. He needs attention all the time. So I was trying to get my son to look after him. My son is 12 years old now. He was 11 at the time. You know how kids are. He thinks the dog is cool, but as soon as it comes down to doing something with the dog or for the dog, it's a problem. You got to tell him to feed the damn dog. You got to tell him to walk the dog. You got to tell him to do everything. And you got to tell him twice. You know what I mean? Like, damn kids these days, man, they spoiled as fuck. Growing up, my parents didn't have to tell me twice. Shit, they wouldn't even be finished with the sentence and I would be getting on it. Because I know if I didn't, I'd get my ass beat right then and there. It wasn't worth it. So, I got the dog. She seems like she's doing alright, but she's like having mental problems. Like, she keeps going to the ER, telling them she got anxiety, telling them something's wrong with her, this and that. And I'm like, why the fuck do you keep going to the emergency room? Like, why? What the fuck? That don't even make sense to me. What are they going to do for you there if you're having anxiety or mental problems? So she's like, no, I need Ativan. This has happened to me before. I'm bipolar, this and that. I'm like, man, this bitch is tripping. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I kind of just fall back, just doing my thing. Like a week goes by, she hits me up again. I think it was 4th of July, so I'm like, yeah, listen, we can hang out, whatever. I had my son at the time. They was doing fireworks at her trailer park, so we came through, was kicking it. And we kind of started talking again, She seems like she's doing all right now, so I'm like, I don't know what the fuck she was on, man. I know people who have been addicted to benzos, how they act. She don't seem like she's addicted to benzos, so I'm like, I don't think she was withdrawing. There's something wrong with this bitch on the real. So I get to know her better. I start knowing more about her. Figure out she's on Adderall. She has a prescription. This and that. She got a script. She takes Adderalls. This and that. I be waking up at night sometimes, like 2 in the morning. Look over and she's just scrolling away on her phone. I'm like, what the fuck? This bitch really tweaking, man. Like, damn. So I'm like, all right, it is what it is. Meanwhile, let me just say this. She got 2 houses, one in Alabama, one in Florida. She's not a dumb woman, you know what I mean? Like, she got a good head on her shoulders. She know what she's doing. So I'm like, okay, let me find out, you know? Like, maybe we can make something happen. She got 2 houses. I'm kind of feeling that. I want 2 houses too, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be a scumbag and player or nothing, but I'm like, hey, man, this is good assets. This is nothing but good. It's a plus. So that happens. We talking this and that. Relationship is getting a little more serious. We've known each other for probably 2 months now. And she approaches me and she's like, I want to get married. And I'm like, huh? Married? We barely know each other. This and that. But she kind of dropped it. Then she brought it up again later, a few days later. She was like, yeah, I really want to get married. I know I love you. You know, I feel like we belong together. I want to have your children. I want to get your name tattooed. I'm like, oh, shit. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But at the same time, I've never been married before. You know, the love of my life, my son's mom, she kind of did me wrong. And, like, she had just left to the Navy. And my father had just passed away recently. I was in a place in my life where I'm like, man, I need somebody to lean on. I need somebody to lean on. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's get married. Let's get married. She's like, all right, we'll go to Vegas and that, this and that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, fuck it. Let's go to Vegas. We go to Vegas. I get her a little $1,500 ring. She loves it, you know. It was this and that. And to tell you the truth, I'm not really feeling her that much, but you know, I got love for her. I show her respect. You know, like it is what it is. We get along, from what I think. Time goes by, and she's on the union waiting list. She's been waiting for a union job, and it's about 2 months now after we're married, and she's just sitting at home. She doesn't want to work. So I'm working. I prepaid the rent 6 months in advance. I gave security deposits, all this shit. Like, I'm telling you, I spent like $15,000 to move into this small house. Give her a place to stay. Have my son needed a place to stay because he was staying with me full time at the time. His mom was in the Navy for a few months. She got discharged because she's retarded, but that's another story for another time. So, you know, we got my son staying there, she's staying there. I paid most of the bills, basically all of them. I mean, she didn't have to pay for nothing for like 2 or 3 months. So she's just laying at home eating brownies. So I'm like, okay, like, look, something's gotta give. Even if you're on this waiting list, you can go get a job in the meantime. Like, come on. So she's like, okay, I'll start looking for a job. She doesn't really want to get a job. So she finally ends up finding a job, probably like a month later of her looking. So it's been like three to 4 months of her not working now. She's gained 50 pounds. No joke. She gained 50 pounds after we got married. She's eating brownies nonstop. She always asking me to get her a little snack from the store. And I don't want to be like, look, you don't need that. You're getting fat. Because I'm not a jackass. I'm not an asshole. I'm not trying to be mean to this girl. You know, she just came from Alabama. Maybe she misses her family. I don't know. I don't want her to have another mental breakdown on top of that, because I don't know what the fuck that's about, because I never dealt with nobody who had mental problems. So, this bitch gets a job at Amazon. Starts working there. I'm like, look, you can drive my truck. I had a Denali at the time. Go ahead, drive that to work. You know, it is what it is. You can park it there. she's driving my truck to work. She's working at Amazon. And she's complaining all the fucking time. Oh, my job is so hard. Oh, this and that. And I'm like, okay, you drive an Amazon truck and deliver packages. I don't know how that could be hard. But hey, it is what it is. You're my wife. You're a woman. I'm gonna try and baby you and pity you and tell you that, oh, it's okay. You won't have to work for much longer. You got your trade. You're on the union waiting list. You'll start working in your trade soon. This and that. And, time goes on. Finally, she gets called into the union. And in the meantime, we're having small arguments here and there quite often because, she's just retarded. There's no other way to put it. She's retarded. So, she gets called in. She starts working with the union for about a week. And every day that she's coming home, it's nothing but complaints. Complain. Nobody treats her with respect. There's people who haven't been there in the trade as long as her, but they're acting like she's the apprentice and she's actually the journeyman and this and that, and like just nonstop. Like, she's acting manic. She's starting the manic bullshit again. And would you know, she's not sleeping. She's pacing back and forth. She's taking really deep breaths, like going like this and shit, like just holding her face. So I'm like, okay, something is up with this bitch. And she's not on drugs. Like, she takes the Adderall, but I guess she wasn't even taking the Adderall at this time, from what she told me, But she is going through it again. And this time I'm living with her, so I'm seeing it firsthand. The last time I wasn't living with her, so I could just leave whenever I wanted to. If anything, I was feeling like something sunny thing, I could leave. She could ask me to leave if she felt like she was about to start acting crazy. She was trying to hide that shit. You know what I mean? So she gets laid off from the union. She gets fired because they can't deal with her shit either. This bitch is crazy. She tries to blame it all on me and says, oh, I didn't keep the house clean enough and I didn't give her enough support. She just whacked out. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to the emergency room with you again. You've been there 4 times this week. It's embarrassing. They don't know what to do for you. You just show up there and they basically make fun of you. That's what she does. She just shows up at the emergency room and tells her, I don't feel good. Oh, I'm having a panic attack. Like, retarded, man. Fucking retarded. So, long story short, I get a call from a detective yesterday. This is after we get into an argument. She leaves because she said she had work tomorrow and she didn't want me sleeping in the room in our bed because she has to work, and when I sleep in the bed, she doesn't get good sleep. Mind you, there's another room with another bed. I'm like, you can go sleep in there then, because my back is fucked up right now. I'm gonna sleep in here. I'm sorry. My back is fucked up. I just got out of the emergency room. My shit's fucked. She starts yelling and screaming, all this shit, slamming doors. Leaves. She leaves. She's gone for like 2 hours. I'm sitting there. I get a call. It says no caller ID. I answer the phone. And I'm going to tell you guys what happened on part 2.